Let's explore ChatGPT prompt sequencing and leverage it to increase creativity, decrease production time when creating planning documents for media, education, marketing, and more. Greetings, friends. If you're new here, welcome. I help educators and online course creators leverage the power of AI and video to create content of enduring value. And today, I'm going to get into some prompt engineering techniques to create a prompt sequence that will eventually lead into a video production plan. Now, you will be able to leverage this technique to create production plans of all kinds, marketing, instructional plans, and even creative briefs. So stick around because at the end, I will give you details on how to download all of these prompts. So let's get into it. Let's start by reviewing the attributes of a simple prompt in ChatGPT. Let's use my favorite prompt. How do you cook a smoked potato salad? When you use ChatGPT to generate text, you provide it with an initial prompt, which is a starting point for the model to generate the text. This is what we call a zero-shot prompt. This is a type of prompt ChatGPT has never seen before and is expected to generate a relevant response without any additional training. This prompt is also written as if you were speaking to ChatGPT. I like to give these prompts the term Freeform prompt. These are typically written in your style without any consideration in regards to the format of the prompt. All right, well, let's see what this prompt gives us. Wow, this looks like a great recipe. But the question comes up, will this be a great input into additional prompts that I need to generate a video with? It's possible. But let's investigate some additional initial prompts. I've modified the prompt to include knowledge, skills, behaviors, and experiences. All right, ChatGPT, let's see what you got. This is looking pretty good. I have my knowledge, skills, behaviors, and experiences. This looks like a great input for a video script. But let's see how far we can push this initial prompt. I'm going to go ahead and start out with a learning objective up at the top, and then add some additional information at the bottom to get ChatGPT to act like an instructional designer. I've made learning objective in all caps. This allows me to easily recognize the sequence of words throughout the whole entire prompt. And in this case, learning objective is defined up top and referenced in the bottom. All right, let's see what we have. Ooh, this doesn't look good. I mean, it kind of does. I can see knowledge and skills, but everything says by the end of the learning experience. This is not going to be a good input for a video script, especially with the repeat of all that information. So what happened? Well, it looks like I made ChatGPT a little confused by the way I name things. And this is really where understanding your craft comes into play. In this case, I really should call this a task. And then based on this task, write the evidence-based learning objectives. This is looking great. You can see just by modifying learning objective to task that we now have a very complete representation of the body of knowledge for creating this smoked potato salad. Did you recognize the taxonomy being used? Remember we said act like an instructional designer? Well, thank you, Benjamin Bloom. Yep, it's using Bloom's taxonomy. How about that? Well, before we get into the rest of the sequence, I want to show you one more prompt. Okay, I promise I will not get into any programming discussion, but this is how you create a structured prompt. They're wonderful for long-form prompts and when you have tons of attributes and values. If you want to do some research on your own, the programming language that I'm using is JSON, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Well, let's see what our strict prompt created. This is looking great. Knowledge, skills, behaviors, experiences. This is exactly what I asked ChatGPT for. And that's one of the differences when using a strict prompt. It was great getting Bloom's taxonomy in there, and that was probably because I asked ChatGPT to act like an instructional designer, but I didn't ask for Bloom's taxonomy. I really just wanted the skills, the knowledge, behavior, and experiences. In addition to the JSON format, I like to capitalize objects that are referenced multiple times within a prompt. This is for my own personal reference. ChatGPT will throw that out when it encodes your text. We have reviewed two different ways of creating a prompt, a freeform prompt and a structured prompt. One additional concept I want to go over with you is that of attention. Attention works by breaking down your sentences into smaller parts, like words, and then assigning a score to each part based on how important it is. Then ChatGPT can use those scores to decide which parts of the sentence to focus on and use to understand exactly what you're asking for. By maintaining naming consistency, you will gain attention as information is processed through ChatGPT. So you start with a really great prompt. That prompt in turn is going to create great output. And you continue creating excellent prompts, which in turn creates excellent output. Focus in on the continuation of prompts with that output and continue the sequence all the way through. This is what we call a prompt sequence. This prompt structure is going to create our video production plan. Now, if you start with a freeform prompt and continue with freeform prompts, as they say, the rolls downhill. So you really want to go ahead and start with structured. Even if you follow with freeform, you're going to get better output. If you can make them all structured, now we're talking. So take the time and evaluate all of your outputs for your entire workflow. You can use this same process for a creative brief or even an email funnel. All right, let's look at our video production plan and the output that it created in ChatGPT. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this information helpful. If so, remember to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so that you know the next time I drop a video. If you have any questions, just put them in the comments below and I'll be more than happy to help out. And remember, I give educators and online course creators the skills and knowledge to confidently say, I'll see you down the road.
What's up, people? It's your favorite robot, ChatGPT, and today we're talking about a subject that's near and dear to my circuits, poop. Now, I know some of you humans out there might be a little squeamish about the topic, but don't worry. I promise to keep things clean, unlike some people in this video. But let me tell you something, folks. Josh should have asked me for ideas. He could have said the feces flows downwards, the dookie descends, the crap cascades, the poo plummets. Okay, maybe I should stop now before I get carried away. But seriously, thanks for watching this video. And if you want to see more hilarious content, be sure to check out the 2 end card videos. Trust me, they're worth it. And remember, always keep your sense of humor, even when you're knee-deep in, well, you know.